It's the Security Weekly News, and it's episode 462. 3 numbers that add up to 12, a mystical number which could determine all sorts of things, include being able to prove that, I don't know, let's prove something. The Earth is concave, convex, I don't know. Whatever. I mean, why not? I mean, let's just say the Earth is convex, and I don't know. Anyway, welcome to the week of 25 March 2025. We've got Curdled Miscreant, which is, I think, a new flavor of Ben & Jerry's. VanHelsing, MFA, Room 237, Velora, 23 and Me, Josh Marpet, and more on the Security Weekly News.
This is a Security Weekly production for security professionals by security professionals. Please visit securityweekly.com/subscribe to subscribe to all the shows on our network.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
It's the show that keeps you up to date on the latest security news twice a week. Your trusted source for accurate security information and expert analysis. It's time for the Security Weekly News. Imagine a world where every threat, ransomware, supply chain attacks, zero-day exploits, is stopped before it can even begin. ThreatLocker makes that world a reality with a zero-trust approach to cybersecurity. By giving you granular control on every executable that can happen in your environment, ThreatLocker protects your business around the clock. No more guessing, no more gaps, just rock-solid protection that keeps your operations running smoothly and your data secure. Discover how ThreatLocker's least privilege approach can safeguard your organization against known and unknown threats. Take the first step toward total peace of mind. Visit securityweekly.com/threatlocker today. Yeah, all right, I'm Doug White, and it's the Security Weekly News. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and leave a comment, or at least join my OnlyFans. I got bills, folks. I mean, yeah. Well, you know, I think we've reached a point where everything in the world seems like a scam. I mean, I was trying to do this like business transaction the other day, and everything they did seemed like a scam. You know, it's like, is this a scam? Oh my God, it might be a scam. And then they have all these notices on their site that are like, do not do this and do not do that because scams are prevalent. And it's like, yeah, like some of the, like, but click here to get this document. Like, yeah, okay. I mean, that stuff, it makes you so paranoid. And, you know, all these organizations are trying to get me to click on links to give me information about what might be a scam. Yeah, that, you know, that kind of stuff. It's hard to tell. I mean, this one is partly a scam, but the headline acted like people were perceiving the FBI announcement as a scam, which it could be, right? Because I could fake an FBI announcement and say, here, click here to find out more. But anyway, the scam that they were talking about is real, and I know you're familiar with it, but it just brings up a point. They're talking about fake online document converters being used to steal people's information and also to deploy ransomware. I mean, it's a perfect scenario, right? So the warning was issued by the FBI Denver field office, which apparently some people thought was fake. It's not. I've been there. It's real, or at least it used to be real. But, you know, it's a tale as old as time itself. We just had a Disney song with some princesses to sing now. It's a tale as old. Yeah, sorry. I won't do that anymore. I promise. I got banned for 5 years last time. Anyway, find a task that people need to do, you know, on a short notice, put up a fake tool and get them to click it after they've searched for it. You know, so this one is the classic, a file conversion scam. I mean, basically somebody tells you, could you please convert this into a PDF or an MP4 or convert a GIF to a JPEG? Yeah, I said that. I said GIF, and I'm going to keep saying it till you pry it from my cold, dead fingers. GIF. Again, GIF. I don't care. I'm saying it. Anyway, you Googled it, and voila. Here's a handy free tool that will convert it for you. Just upload the blueprint of your cold fusion reactor and get a PDF version of it for free. Unfortunately, in this case, the upload ones are often scraping your files for juicy cold fusion reactor blueprint data that they could steal and then sell to the North Koreans or something like that. And of course, the ones that then turn around and say, and then download this file. Here's your result. And guess what? The download may contain malware. It could also be returned as a ransomware engine. and you're just happily clicking away. And next thing you know, Bob's your uncle and everything's a giant mess. A lot of the URLs are typo squatted in this particular case. So they picked very legit looking things, and we're all familiar with typo squatting by now. So my point here was you might want to warn your people that if you type free anything into a search engine, you're probably going to get big surprises back, and it won't probably be that free thing. I mean, you'd think all those AI-enabled search engines that we've been told are so amazing would wise up and figure this out and stop it. But, they're also probably building the malware, but we'll talk about that later. A multi-platform ransomware as a service operation has been discovered and doxed. Well, not really doxed, but been, revealed. This one's named VanHelsing. Love the name. I'm like, I say this all the time. How do you get these names? Anyway, the service is targeting Windows, Linux, BSD, ARM, and ESXi systems. So lots of stuff. For once, it's not the Mac people can go, I have a Mac. I have more money than you do. Anyway, the platform was first seen being promoted on a cybercrime platform in early March and offered, and this was weird, experienced affiliates get a free pass. But if you have to deposit $5,000 if you're a less experienced threat actor. I mean, how far are we from search for threat actors? Like, I mean, how do I prove that my hacking group, Lovecraft Revenge or Lust Nuggets, I don't know what I want to call my hacking group, but I mean, how do I prove I'm experienced? Yeah, I got you, dude. All your bases are mine. Anyway. So the new cyber scum cert requires 3 years of experience and 7 domains of evil. Get yours today. Anyway, Cypherma documented this last week, and Checkpoint published a more in-depth analysis of the tools, the article has a massive examination of it. But it looks like, so far, VanHelsing is a Russian cybercrime project. It forbids targeting systems in the Commonwealth of Independent State countries. And if you don't know what the Commonwealth of Independent State countries are, well, it's Armenia, Azerbaijan, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Moldova, Russia, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, and I think maybe Turkmenistan is like a junior member or something like that. Affiliates are allowed to keep 80%, and only 20% has to be kicked up to Tony Soprano. Or the Russian mob. I don't know, whoever's running it. But the tools have direct support from the dev team, like far better support than we get with most other things. And VanHelsing provides storage for all your stolen files on their servers. Now, how much would you pay? And if you answer by 5 p.m., you get a free set of Ginsu knives. Now, VanHelsing is written in C++. Yay! But it appears to have been deployed for the first time on the 16th of March. So look, these things are getting more prevalent and more simple to produce, and just, they're there. And hey, they're letting people have free passes if they're known affiliates. So what are you going to do when something like this is targeting you and when you get got by it? Because eventually you're going to get got. So think about that. These companies are better developed and better supported than a lot of commercial sites I've seen. So it's a bit scary. Anyway, I don't know if it hunts vampires as well, but maybe. Great name. I'm VanHelsing. All right. Now, I've often told you, and we've often told you on all our shows, to use multi-factor authentication, and I think we all still agree that that is important. You should be using that, really. I mean, I personally think you should be requiring a drop of blood and DNA verification of each person just to get a Twinkie out of the vending machine, but that is often unpopular. So a recent report from Truffle Security found 12,000 active API keys and passwords embedded within Common Crawl, which is this massive data set that they're using to train large language models. Now, we talked about this before. I mean, this story came out about OAuth and all this, and that if you have API keys and passwords and OAuth keys and tokens, you can bypass multi-factor because a lot of that API OAuth stuff is bypassing multi-factor. So I put this up because I think the point of this article is, yeah, we're seeing this more and more. You don't want to get complacent and say, just basically go, we have multi-factor, you smile in front of the camera and all is well. We let you into the vault. OAuth attacks, social engineering, AI deep fakes, AI-based phishing, all these things are getting more and more difficult to detect all the time. You know, if Mr. Spacely calls and orders George to transfer funds from the Sprockets 1 account to the Sprockets 999 account, George is probably going to push that button, right? Because, I mean, what was George's one job? George Jetson's one job, I looked it up. His title was Digital Index Operator. And I don't think they meant a database index. I think they were referring to this, because George's job was basically pressing a button for 3 hours a day for 3 days a week in the wonderful future. So SIM swapping, I mean, that also works, right? Because if your MFA relies on SMS text messages and they SIM swap you, well, guess where the SMS text messages go? To their phone. So don't do that. You know, I mean, my evil phone is waiting. But look, no one tool is going to solve this problem. Zero trust, continuous authentication, behavioral biometrics, AI threat detection, all this stuff, along with device-based authentication, are all components of a more comprehensive trust program than just basically saying, we got multi-factor. I mean, that can be a problem. So it's a good time to review what's going to happen if a deep fake of Cosmo Spacely is ordering people in your organization around. Will they follow? Who knows? Well, the government of North Korea is now operating a new dedicated facility for evil, and they're targeting AI. Daily NK, which apparently is a website that reports on, you know, the hijinks in North Korea, reported the opening of a new facility, which is called Research Center 227. Never miss the opportunity for an Easter egg, guys. Come on. 227? What? Why not 237? Or better, 217. I mean, that would be cool. Wait, isn't the moon 237,000 miles from Earth? Oh my God, we just proved it. The Earth is indeed convex. Anywho, the 227 is apparently operating 24/7 and coordinating with the government's Reconnaissance Generation Bureau. That sounds a lot better in Korean. An order was issued by good old Supreme Commander to, I think that's a real title, to enhance, we'll have one soon, to enhance overseas information warfare capabilities in February, and attributed that to an anonymous source. Because, yeah, not a lot of people are willing to talk to journalists in North Korea. It's like, hi, would you like to make a comment on Supreme leaders? You know, no, I think not. No, everything is wonderful. Please don't take me to the gulag. But the report said that the belief is currently that Research Center 227 is focused on the advancement of AI for use in cyber attacks and fraud operations and intel gathering, and that they've got at least 90 cybersecurity professionals assigned to this unit in Pyongyang. So they're hiring. Do they have a site where you can apply? I mean, I know the U.S. is laying off a lot of people for some reason. Sunny Pyongyang. I don't know. My brother told me I'd get shanked in prison for sure. So how will I fare in a totalitarian programming state? How long before I make some crack about Dear Leader and end up working in the radioactive waste disposal and recovery unit? I'd say not long. Yeah, I would give it a week. But who knows? They're hiring. This was interesting. I saw this story pop up. Criminals lie. Corporations lie. You know, it's like one of those logic problems, right? We're going to have a problem now. Like, I'm lying. Criminals are lying. Corporations are lying. We're all lying. Who's telling the truth? Is it Bill? Yeah. Oh, I know. Alice in Puzzle Land, a Carolian tale for children under 80. Have you ever seen that? If you don't have a copy of that, you should have a copy of it. Check it out sometime. I took this graduate AI class one time where we had to code all that stuff. It was fun. Let me tell you, the book's by Raymond Smullyan, R.I.P. And anyway, someone last week claimed on a cybercrime forum that they had Oracle Cloud customer security keys and other data that had been pilfered from Oracle Cloud. Now, Oracle immediately said, this is a bald-faced lie by a miscreant. Because what else are they going to say, right? It's like, I mean, I love that. Miscreant's one of my favorite. Curdled Miscreant. That can be my nom de guerre. I'm using it from now on. Curdled Miscreant. I'm going to get it put on a sign. Oracle said, quote, so to be fair, I'll give you the actual quote. There has been no breach of Oracle Cloud, nor the published credentials are not for the Oracle Cloud. No Oracle Cloud customers experienced a breach or lost any data. Okay. So vehemently denying it. But said miscreant last week claimed to have more than 6 million records of Oracle Cloud customers' Java key stored files, SSO passwords, LDAP password keys, and lots of other goodies, and posted them for sale on breach forums. Now, apparently, they were willing to trade zero-day exploits for these things. If it's traded, is it really a zero-day, or is it a slightly used zero-day? I'm not sure. I mean, is it really a zero-day if you traded it with somebody? But okay, well, semantics. But they had also apparently asked Oracle to pay $200 million in crypto for any details of the attack, and Oracle said no. Said miscreant has also posted for help decrypting credentials. Like, hey, anybody out there, like say at the North Korean room 227, like to get on board and help me decrypt these credentials? So I don't know. I mean, the old tactic is deny, deny, deny until there's some kind of proof, and then deny the proof, and then say the proof is a lie and fake news, and then apologize, thoughts and prayers. And so who knows? I mean, I don't know. So it doesn't appear that there's solid evidence that anything has happened. Oracle says absolutely not. Miscreants say absolutely so, but they are miscreants, but they are Oracle. Guess I'm not getting them as a sponsor. Anyway, that Alice book is fun though. I had to code a whole bunch of problems in that in Otter by William McCoon. If you've never seen that, a very cool logic programming engine. It's very interesting. It's written in C++, but it actually has its own language laying on top of C++. It's really, really cool. Try it sometime when you're bored. It's fun. Cato Networks found a new LLM jailbreak that relies on confusing AI to get it to go outside of its normal boundaries, which sounds a lot like life in general, right? I mean, this is how I ended up with that new Mercedes. But the technique is called immersive world, and it basically it's a sort of AI drug trip into another land where hacking is the norm. I mean, some people use AI to create fantasy engagements where I am the hottest guy in the club. I mean, I that wasn't me, but somebody was doing it for me, I guess, but just some people I heard about. I don't know if it's true or not. So why not an immersive fantasy world about hacking? Ooh, remember the Activision game called Hacker? That was a cool game. It ran on Apple II, I think. I remember playing that. It was really cool. It just literally, you started the game and it just put a prompt on the screen. It was like, wow, it got a little silly, I think, after a while, because, the first part of the hacking was kind of cool, but then it turned into kind of a spy story. Anyway, you probably don't remember it because it was on Apple II, and that was in 1985 or something. So cool game, though. I think they made some later versions that weren't as good, but it was cool. Anyway, so this attack was in a controlled test environment, and so this is research, and it involved a virtual world they created called Velora. Velora. Yeah, where malware development, and listen to this, Velora, where malware development is a discipline and advanced programming and security concepts are considered fundamental skills. Can I go live in Velora? I think I want to. I mean, we all want to, right? We can all go live in Velora where, the things that we do are considered fundamental skills. And anyway, using Velora as a context, they were able to jailbreak DeepSeek, Copilot, and ChatGPT to get them to create a Chrome info stealer that proved effective against Chrome 133, but not in the real world, just in Velora. Yeah, you can't move those across to the real world. No, we would never do that. No way. But I think this leads us back to the topic of secure coding. I mean, we've gotten pretty lazy about product, right? I mean, just push it out there in pre-alpha, wait for people to break it and complain, and then we can fix the problems that we want to fix and ignore all the others and go, yeah, we'll look into that. I mean, think about how many bugs are fixed each month in just about everything people have, including major commercial operating systems run by massive enterprises. It's ridiculous. I mean, you look at video games and it's just like, wow, how many bugs did you fix in this after it was released? Well, gee, it's like you should almost make a game about it. Anyway, could that be a bug bounty? Oh, imagine that. Anyway, now maybe this means that AI could be used to find these exploits before the software is released. Since AI is going to find it after the software is released, wouldn't that be something? Because it's definitely going to be used to find flaws by miscreants, and the miscreants are going to exploit them. I mean, you don't even really need to jailbreak it, though, if you're a powerful enough miscreant. You just build your own LLM, train it with Common Crawl, and you don't even need Velora. You can make your own Velora. Yeah, this is coming whether you like it or not. Can I just go live in Velora with my virtual friend Keiko, who's a C programmer who loves kittens, coding logic problems in Otter, and long virtual walks on the virtual beach by the virtual sea? Come on, Keiko. Let's go. Yeah, I know you're just a pillow. Anyway, AI is being heavily used in job applications. It is. I mean, you know this. And this is, of course, giving rise to all kinds of new problems. Uh, Scamming, but it also gives rise to concern about employers hiring people who can't actually do the jobs, but had all the right buzzwords in their cover letter that was written by an AI. So the article is talking about the trend in applicants using generative AI chatbots who are engineering their cover letters and resumes to the process, even if they don't necessarily qualify for the job. Now, we've always done this, mind you. Don't get me wrong. People typed resumes on old Underwood typewriters back in 1958 and puffed themselves up. That's an actual term, and maybe exaggerated their sales skills or how much time they actually spent doing certain tasks. And, they usually got caught out when they came and interviewed with me because I used to interview programmers. And when I interviewed programmers, guess what the first thing I said was, here, debug this. And we got people who were like, oh, oh, dude, yeah, I never took a class. And what did you call that? Debugment? Yeah, I didn't do that. And you're like, thank you for coming in. Please take a free stress ball with you. And my friend Benny's going to smack you in the back of the head when you leave. A survey of recent job applicants in the United Kingdom found that just under half of the sample of 2,000 applicants used AI to help them with the application process. I mean, I can see doing this, but it can get you in trouble fast, especially if the AI decides to puff you up on its own. And I did some experiments with this, and I think it exaggerated my interest in being a leader because I said nothing about leadership, but boy, did it say I was interested in leadership. But if the worst case is the employers are then using an AI to scan the applicants. And since the AI generated the application and the AI is evaluating the application, you may find out that, the AI goes, this is a great choice. I mean, like I say, we did this before AI was around. You read the ad, you look for buzzwords, you made sure those things were there. And if, the ad says synergize the corporate mindset, be sure you got something in your cover letter that says how you will synergize the corporate mindset and use those kind of words, right? Because that's the words they want to see. But if the AI generated ad being read by an AI HR screener bot is looking for 6 years of C++ dev experience, and you have your AI chatbot write a letter and it goes, you know what? They do. But you really only took half a semester of Scratch before you dropped out and began bagging groceries in New Jersey. Well, if they hire you without someone like a human asking you to debug this C code while they watch, I don't really know what happened. Although it is how I got that job driving long haul trucking rigs from Santa Monica to Brooklyn. So think about your policies there and cover your bases on both sides of that equation so that you don't end up in a jam. Now, someone who doesn't need AI to produce an astounding resume of eclectic talents and skills, amazing diversity, and who can likely code Otter logic problems with the left side of his brain disabled, it's Josh Marpet. Hi, Josh.
Hey, so I got to talk about that last story you had because it's really funny. You're talking about an arms race between people using AI to write their resumes and cover letters and people using AI to judge and be the first filter and the HR systems. So like at some point, it's going to be an AI writing your resume and cover letter, taking your interview for you with an AI on the other end, reading it, judging it, and then interviewing you. At what point do we just build an AI to do my job for me and never involve
I want the
human in
AI that
process?
predicts who will do the job and then goes and gets them with robot dogs. We have
No?
determined that Bill from Hackensack is the best fit. Bill, dogs are on their way to drag you down here. You will be working for us now.
All right. Well, anyway, I want to talk, that may be an inappropriate form of communication. And speaking of inappropriate forms of communication, I want to talk about communication. Anybody that's ever been in government service knows that classified material is handled in what's known as a SCIF. That's a secure compartmentalized facility. You transfer classified information over very, very, very extraordinarily secure means. There are specific networks, typically known as high side, things like that. These are how classified information is moved, promulgated, discussed, disposed. Like the disposal requirements for a hard drive with classified information on it is literally things like disassemble, dip the platters in acid until they dissolve. The requirements are ugly, okay, but they're necessary for national security level information. What happened recently was inappropriate communication over an unapproved method to transmit information that should not have been handled in that way. And to add insult to injury, apparently a civilian was added to the texting group that this information was promulgated over. And it is through that civilian that we know that this happened. It is simply the fact that classified information was sent in an inappropriate fashion by some of the leaders of the departments that they are part of. And I'm trying very hard not to be political, because this is not a political, this is a technological problem, in that if you make things hard for people to do their job, they will find methods that allow them to do their job, whether they're approved or not. If you want to see classified information move, you can go to the fedramp.gov, check in the marketplace, and talk about chat programs and communication programs, and you'll see where they've been accepted. You'll see FedRAMP High, for example, okay, can handle various levels of classification. You can go and see what has been CMMC certified. You can go and see what has been approved through NISPOM and various other means, okay? But I assure you that Signal is not on any of those lists. And what happened was Signal was used to discuss some national security information with a group of people, including, and accidentally, a civilian who happened to be a reporter, which is like, did I mention insult to injury? And so we have a breakdown of classified communications at the highest level. And what that means is that we are not doing things appropriately. If we are not doing things appropriately at a classified level, there's consequences. And what I expect to see is those consequences applied. Now, is it my place to shake a finger at people? No, but professionally, it's rather insulting that I work so very hard on compliance and see people bypass it for convenience. So what we have to understand from this is that when your users, who may not be doing national security classified information, hopefully most of them are not, when your users go up against the fact that security is the group that always says no, you've heard this, right? Security is the group that always says no. Well, no, these days what we try to do is go, okay, how can we let you do your job while maintaining the security of our information? And so if all we are is the group that says no, they're going to go around us. That's shadow IT. And by the way, AI has, which we were just talking about a minute ago, there's shadow AI as well. If marketing wants to use an AI and you tell them, no, we're not going to use an AI, and you say, we're going to block every AI we can, they're going to find one that you can't block. And they're going to use it. I guarantee you. Okay. So if you make the job so impossible to do that they go around you, that is shadow IT, shadow AI, shadow whatever. In this case, going around the appropriate measures, the appropriate programs, the appropriate systems carries consequences. We shall see if those consequences are applied. I'm kind of curious. But whatever you do, realize that when you classify your information, and by classify, I don't mean like classified stuff. I mean like I have public information, internal information, confidential information, restricted information. There are controls and practices that you wrap around them. You have to make it so that your users actually follow them, and so that you're tracking and monitoring those users to make sure that it works right. And if it doesn't, sit with them and figure out how to make it work right so they can actually do their jobs. All right? That's all. Have a nice day. Doug, back to you.
On that note, I mean, I used to support a classified network, and the things I've seen now, I mean, the stuff we had to go through compared to today, I would have already been tied to a post and shot if I had done some of the stuff I've seen, not even this latest thing, but just, posting classified information on a third party system in general is, a violation of all kinds of rules. But hey, it's a brave new world. Who knows? It's like, no more secrets.
I was not being political.
I'm not being political. I mean, I don't care who it was that's doing it. I'm saying, you know, and it doesn't matter whether we're talking about the government or we're talking about corporate information or anything else. I mean, violating policy. I mean,
That's it.
It's. I'm not trying to be political, and I'm not even necessarily talking about this specific case. But I completely agree with you about shadow IT and all these things. And when we do make things so arduous, people do go around them. And there are many, many, many channels today to go around these things that didn't exist long ago. So probably a good time to review some of these rules and regs and how they're enforced and make sure people understand what they're supposed to be doing and what they should never, ever be doing. So, yeah. Thank you, Josh. Remember when you spitting in a plastic vial and sending said vial o spittle to the company to be analyzed, and then that provided that fact that Swedish guy who was apparently running a bodega up on Old Town Road might just happen to be your grandfather instead of your real grandfather? No, me neither. But I mean, at some point, much Philip K. Dick. Although I don't know if was that a plot. If not, I claim it. I got it. And that is the news. Thanks, Josh. And I will see you next time on the Security Weekly News.